Hey, good morning, everyone. What a milestone we are going to celebrate today. I want to acknowledge the fact that what we are celebrating in terms of getting electric vehicles on the road and increasing massively the adoption of electric vehicles is never done in a vacuum. It starts with leadership. And in this case, it started with the leadership of two amazing people, Mayor Ed Lee and Supervisor Tang, who came to the Department of the Environment and gave us a challenge. They said, this is the right thing to do. How do we put a policy together that is both meaningful, will push the envelope, and is also possible to do in a climate of development and job creation that is so important to them as leaders of this city? And what we have today is the result of over a year's worth of work with many partners, many people who I see sitting here today who sat with us day after day, hour after hour, to figure out how can we make this work. So the first thing I'd like to do is give out those thank yous, those call outs to the people whose partnership made this milestone possible. So first and foremost, our Commission on the Environment. Today we have the president of our commission, Commissioner Elmi Bermejo here, who has charged our department over and over again to push the envelope. The Department of Building Inspection, we have Tom Huey, thank you so much. This will not happen without all of your staff working with us day to day. We also have the Building Inspection Commission and their commitment to helping us solve the problems of implementation. The San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, I want to give a big thank you to Barbara Hale of the Power Enterprise, because electric vehicles not only increase load for Clean Power SF, give us a wonderful way to use our clean energy, but perhaps they offer us an opportunity to make use of those batteries for storage in the future to have a truly integrated electrical utility. I want to thank PG&E. I also want to thank Governor Brown's office. They have a very bold electric vehicle goal. They cannot meet it without cities like San Francisco. And then there's the developers, the private sector partners, Oyster Development and Kilroy, and all the developers who were at the table with us to make sure they could follow through on this. And of course, the Housing Action Coalition and all the other nonprofits that worked and were there without fear, where they're saying, even in affordable housing, we know we can do this. And we want to give our tenants the opportunity to drive electric vehicles. They shouldn't just be for the wealthy. They should be for everyone. And of course, the San Francisco Apartment Association, who called us to the task and said, make sure we can do this. We've got a lot on our plates. We rose to the occasion, and we listened to their concerns. And of course, other private sector partners, ChargePoint, EverCharge, and PowerTree, those are the people who are figuring out how to get that charging infrastructure there. And of course, Tesla Motors, who is showing us what is possible. And we are working to build for them the market so that they can thrive in San Francisco. And finally, it's those EV advocates, the ones who put themselves on the line every day to move the electric vehicle community. The Center for Sustainable Energy, Charge Across Town, Brightline Defense. Thank you all. You are an amazing group of partners. So now I would like to invite the mastermind, one of the two masterminds behind this, and my inspiration on leadership, and that is Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you, Debbie. Well, thank you. Thank you, Debbie, again, to you and your staff and commission for working with all of us in government, in education, in the private sector, in the workforce sector, to make sure that what we are doing has an overall purpose. So it's not just the advocates getting together like we always do at City Hall. It's not like our I call our PUC now, they're a bunch of Elon Musks running around trying to create energy where it doesn't exist. It really is about all of us coming together to think about how we create a better world, a world for our kids, I'm always thinking about my kids, and I always think about the old promise that if I had a chance to occupy this wonderful office as mayor, have a chance to work with the supervisors in collaboration, we're going to make our city, but ultimately make a statement for the rest of the world like San Francisco always gets to do with the great minds here, is how do we make our world better? And this is why we get together on an effort. Whenever the Commission of our Environment is in City Hall, we always have an opportunity to talk about a better world because they're always thinking about how to do better things. And so today's announcement, as limited as it might be, we're talking today about an incredible piece of legislation that Supervisor Katie Tang has led and got the support of Supervisor Asha Safai and the rest, the entire board is behind us. How do we make our world better? And one of the many ways that we're doing this is to focus on sustainable energy for our city. And this particular one invites the private sector that are building these incredible buildings, office towers, small housing sites, business office buildings throughout the city, and to suggest to them, let's do ourselves a big favor when we're designing the buildings. All new buildings from here on got to have conduits for electric vehicles right away so that the residents and the tenants and the employees can have an equal opportunity to have an electric vehicle and use it. It shouldn't always be at the end when it's more expensive, and therefore only those that can afford to do it end up doing it. This is another strike for equity in the city. Let's do it at the beginning when we can all afford to do it, and then make it equitable for everybody else. While I'm talking about the environment, I also want to make a link, because just last week during Earth Day, we announced other things that I think make the city as equitable as it could be. I said that we're going to remain a sanctuary city for everyone. And just 2 days ago, we were able to celebrate a big victory in court to make sure that even the president can't willy-nilly cut our funding because he doesn't agree with our sanctuary status. I said that we'll remain a city that's going to be aggressive and ambitious in our climate action plans. And we've already reduced our emissions in the city by 28%. That's 2 years ahead of schedule because everybody is wanting to make sure this city, while it's growing, in fact, we've grown 19% at the same time, we are already making sure that our economy, while it grows and while our population grows, that we can still reduce emissions if we work together collaboratively. I said that San Francisco is going to be a leader in clean energy, and so by 2020, not 2030, when the state is going to do it, by 2020, 50% of all of our energy is going to be renewable electric energy in this city. These are bold statements, but ones that we could make and keep to and actually carry out if we all work together, if we all think about equity, we all think about our goals as being a better society for everyone, we can do this. So today I'm signing this legislation that to me, while is exciting, it is part of a larger goal for this city. And I am really happy to say too that it's not just about energy, it's about the future. When I say the future, it's clean air, it's clean water, but it's also where the jobs are going to be. And this is why Professor Nick from the Richmond Sunset area, Sunset, okay, Supervisor, Sunset all the way. Professor Nick of our City College is really important to be here because he, of course, is the a leader of the hybrid and clean energy vehicle certification program at our City College. And this is also why Michael Carr is here too, because the workforce has to be part of this as well. if we're going to get people off of fossil fuel, let's get people in the clean energy vehicles and hybrid vehicles. Let's know how to create them, sustain them, repair them, and use them all over our wonderful city, because that's the connector. And so if we don't have the jobs component and we don't get labor aboard, we also are missing a great part. So this is why it's important to have the commission with us, along with the workforce and the people who are training. And by the way, the exciting part of City College, by this fall, it's going to be free for everyone. And so you have quality job creation, training at a beloved City College that we all cherish. It's important for veterans. It's important for everybody that depends on a City College that's affordable to them. So let's get this going. I'm excited again, and I say again, thank you to Supervisor Katie Tang and the full board for leading this effort, for having all the negotiations. She had to spend some time negotiating with our building developers to make sure that they were both challenged, but also not inappropriately challenged in a way in which they could actually accommodate. Because these things are not easy, and they're not cheap. I'll put it out there. It's not. This is something that, while we think it's available, it's not easy to do. If it was easy to do, we'd just announce it and sign it, and everybody would have free pens, free Bic pens. But no, these are not easy things to do, and that's why I want to say thank you to all of the people here putting their effort and their brains together and leading this charge. Thank you, and congratulations, everyone.
Yes. We are a transit-first city. There's no question. We want people out of their cars. However, and when they are in a car, we want it to be electric. And we want those cars to plug in to Clean Power SF on 100% renewable energy. That is the future. That, as the mayor says, is the bigger picture. And no one understands this better on the Board of Supervisors than Supervisor Katie Tang. I want to give a heartfelt thank you for your leadership, and as well as to your staff who were tireless in working with us and patient as well when they needed to be. So let's greet Supervisor Katie Tang.
Thank you all so much for being here today. This is really exciting, especially as we just recently celebrated Earth Day, which we dedicate one day out of the year to celebrate, but really we should be celebrating our Earth every single day. And what really motivated me on this effort is the fact that we might not have an Earth to celebrate in the future, and the fact that one day I hope that I can actually get myself into an electric vehicle. And I can't do that right now. It's very sad. And so I hope that with our efforts today here combined, as well as our effort to, by 2022, transition our own municipal fleet over to all electric, that we can really shift the marketplace here in San Francisco and actually really push the world to transition to cleaner forms of transportation. So what's also really exciting about this effort is, as our next speaker will be discussing, how it is that we can also uplift people working in this industry, giving them new jobs and training skills so that they can become clean mechanics in the future. And that is really great, and so thrilled that we have this partnership with City College to be able to work with our young people coming up to be able to learn new jobs for the future. So I have to acknowledge, though, our SF Environment team. They have been just so wonderful in all of this. So Director Raphael, thank you so much for your leadership and your amazing team. If I say your name, if you could please either wave or stand up, I would really appreciate it. Jesse Denver here, Barry Hooper, Tyrone Jew, actually from the mayor's office. Also Guillermo, I don't know if Guillermo Rodriguez is here, but just want to thank all of you so much for all the hard work you put into this for years and years and years, so that we have a future Earth to celebrate. So thank you all so much for being here today.
I heard a great quote yesterday from the founder of Bloomberg New Energy Finance. He said, when it comes to energy, policy is destiny. Policy is destiny. And what he means is, when we put policies in place the future unfolds. And this policy is not only about saving our climate and our planet, it's about job creation. It's about the workforce of the future. And with that, I'd like to welcome Professor Nick, I love that title, from City College to tell you what's going on down there.
Thank you. So I want to tell you a little bit about our hybrid EV program. It's a really exciting new program. It's free. What we do is we train existing technicians and new incoming technicians the ins and outs of these new vehicles. So hybrid vehicles, plug-in hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, these are new technologies and they represent great opportunity. Our graduating students are snapped up. The job opportunities are completely incredible. When we compare to other industries, it just seems like there's this incredible demand that people aren't aware of in the skilled trades. So what we study are the ins and outs of the vehicles as well as how the charge stations work. Our completing students are then placed individually. So we have a placement program where we try and match the student with the ideal work opportunity. So it's been very successful, but really our main challenge is no one knows about our program. We've been doing a great job for a long time and we're kind of little known program. So I'm really happy to be here and be able to talk about this. And like I said earlier, it's free, so there's really no reason to not come and check it out. Thank you.
I want to thank Supervisor Safai for being here today and for his support, not only his vote, but his support for environmental issues. And I look forward to working with you on many future things. And you drive an electric car. All right. And you charge it at home? Okay, lucky guy. So we're going to make that easier for more and more people to do. Thank you. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I think we're ready for the big moment.
Debbie, you want to get your team up here?
Sure.
Jesse, come on. Yeah.
Barry.
Barry.
Come on up.
Barry, come over here. I know I'm gonna. All right.
Tom. Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Everybody smile when I put this pen on. All right.
Is the 27th.
Already.
See, even they get the date wrong.
Oh.
Oh.
The date's
All
wrong.
right, it's
All
done.
right.
Yeah. Great job, everyone. Wow, it's fantastic. No, Tim, seriously.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.